Well, I'm going to do probably something really stupid. So my suggestion is, if you like doing things right or don't like watching somebody do something wrong, it's probably not a good time to start watching this. But I am working on my 1976 Chevrolet Malibu. It's the one with the 5.3 LS engine. It's before I got it, so I didn't pay a lot for it several years ago. It sat in the field for about 7 years with that junk alcohol gas. If you watch my channel at all on a lot of my stuff, I really do not like alcohol gas, and it's hard on these old ones. And I have a lot of older cars, and it's not ideal for these old steel tanks and stuff to have alcohol in them. And allowing it to sit for 7 years ate the tank up. The 65 Mustang you can't see to the right of this car was the same problem. I replaced the sender in it and it was completely rusted from top to bottom. And there was a small set of videos on an 88 town car that's going to get stripped for the motor for that 65 Mustang that had the exact same problem. I pulled the fuel tank and it rotted it clear out. The sender was no good, the pump was no good, the tank ended up being no good, and that's what happens when you put that crap in it and then let it set. So with that said, I'm going to do the wrong thing because I have no idea how much gas is in this. Although the fuel gauge works, I have no idea how much is in it. Once it drops below like 2/3 to half a tank, somewhere between there, it sort of just reads sporadically, and so I have no idea how much gas is in it. I think it's a 18 gallon tank. To be honest with you, I don't know. So I figure my hope is that I've gotten rid of at least 6 gallons, maybe 7, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't make any difference. The smart way to get the gas out of this tank would be either to run it empty or to get up there where the hoses come out, because these still have accessible hoses to a certain extent, where you can get up there, take one of the hoses off on the suction side, and put a small 12-volt electric pump. They sell them at Autos, on O'Reilly's, wherever, and add another piece of hose on it, grab a little battery, bring over here, hook up to it with a couple of wires, and just pump it out. Now, I could do that. That would be the smart way to do it. But I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom of the tank. So I'm an idiot. Do not do what I do, because this could come out bad. Now, I'm not going to drill a very big hole. That's probably going to bite me. It's probably going to take 3 days to dump. But the gas itself is good. It's not all that old. It's only, probably 3 weeks old. But I don't want the contaminants. If I'm trying to save the gas to get into my gas cans, I'm going to put it in. So I was going to use paint filter, little paint filters for automotive paint. But they didn't have any at AutoZone, and he dug around the back and found this. Couldn't even find a price on it. Wouldn't even pop up in the system. So he was nice to just give it to me. This is actually, I'm not even sure if you're seeing it, this is actually a little gas filter for transferring gas. It actually has a small screen on it. I mean, it's not like a filter, it's a screen. Maybe I better say it that way. It says filter, but it's maybe it doesn't say that. But anyway, it's more of just a it does say filter. Anyway, it's more of just a strainer, and it fits in your gas can. Then when you pour it in from one to the other, you're trying to get rid of the garbage out of it, whether it be leaves or whatever. If you happen to do that. Generally, you don't get that stuff in gas, but in this case, I don't want to drill into the bottom of this. I have no idea what's going to come out to begin with. There may be sediment in the bottom, rust, whatever, because it's obviously what keeps. I guess I should say that's the reason I'm replacing the tank, is because there's so much rust in it. It keeps plugging my fuel filter up. And at first it was just doing it every 2 or 3 months, and now it's doing it about every time I drive it. So it's progressively gotten worse. Now, I've been driving non-alcohol gas in it this whole time, but the damage was already done before I got it. So anyway, I'm going to do the stupid thing, and I'm going to drill a hole in this bottom of this tank. Now, you can probably do it in different places, different ways, and I'm probably going to be in your way. You're not going to see anything. I know you can't see where I'm drilling at. I thought about starting up here high and get just some of it out and then just move randomly down, in smaller steps, but there's not much of a drop between here and here. It's probably only, I'm not even sure it's an inch. So I'm not really sure it's worth it. And I've got 2 5-gallon cans that are empty, plus a oil container Now, by rights, when one of these fills up, I'll swap it to the other one, and I should be able to just go dump this into one of my cars or wherever, dispose of it. Depends on what your, what your problem is. But this is not smart. I do have a fire extinguisher handy, so if I do end up starting a fire, I'll probably die anyway in an explosion, fiery death. But I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen. Am I going to make a mess? Absolutely. Am I going to probably be aggravated? Oh, I'm sure of that. Oh, that didn't work. Not where you're going. Oh, come on. Make me go to a small one first. There we go. Oh, don't start smoking. That's actually coming out a bit more than I thought it would. Gas looks good. I'm not seeing anything that's scary. So, and let me tell you, I wouldn't do this on a day that's really hot. I wouldn't do this if the tank was pressurized. This car's been sitting in the garage for almost a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's, I bet it's 60 degrees out. I still got the cap on the tank to try to keep it from coming out 100 mile an hour. So, I have no idea how long it's going to take to do this 5 gallons. Like I said, I got another empty one right here. I suppose I ought to get a light so I can put it on the other side of that can, see if I can see how much is getting in it. Now the smart guy would have gone up there and lubricated those 2 bolts on the straps a couple of days in advance, and so that it'd be easy to come out. But I didn't do that. I'll be cussing that probably for too long. But I did buy a fuel tank. I bought a new sender, and I bought new straps. And I think, if I remember, I think it was $240 for the whole. Well, I had to order everything in different places, but I got them all on eBay, and I think it ended up being around $240 for everything. So I didn't think that was too awful bad. I think that Mustang, it's going to be a lot easier to change the fuel tank on it because the Fords actually bolt them in from the trunk. So you actually open the trunk, pull all your spare jack and everything out, and then the bolts are actually on top. You just unbolt it and then pull the tank right out through the trunk. So, well, I'm glad. I was thinking about going with about a half-inch hole. I'm glad I did, and I think I only put in, that's only 7/32, so that's actually smaller than 1/4 inch. I'm glad that's what I did. Yeah, I didn't even fill my arm up with gas. Yeah, that's getting heavy yet? Nah, not really. Yeah, gas looks good. I'm not seeing any ugly coming out of it. When I pull it out, I may pull that sender off. I'm probably going to, I don't know if I need a retaining ring. I don't think I do, but I may pull it apart just to see if I could see how bad it was inside. Show you. It's hitting on something here. No, don't do that. I said I didn't make a mess till I touched it. Yeah, I definitely don't recommend this. Don't do it on a hot day. Don't do it with an open flame anywhere for sure. Don't put it with a heat lamp or anything like that because the vapors on this is going to collect under this car. That's why I got the garage door open. That's why I got a fire extinguisher. Not that that'll help on a flash, but you know, it's best place to do it's actually outside. You know, don't do it inside with all the doors closed up. And that's even transferring it. I mean, you know, you really don't even want to do that. Just random transfer with that little pump. I mean, it's more contained, but you still get a lot of vapors on that stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go for a little bit, and I'll bring you back here when we get started pulling the tank.